I watched this movie on 3 hours sleep, so that might be why I kept thinking Cherry Pao looks like Don Lee. But I think it has more to do with Don Lee being in Whispers and Moans. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is IP Lovedraft, and this is my review of GhostNet. Hong Kong ghost movies are a special kind of treat. They were almost always made quickly and on a budget that didn't leave a lot of room for indulgences. As a consequence, the cast, the stories, and the special effects were often less than stellar. But so what? Cheap thrills are just as good as expensive ones, if you do it right. Nowadays, with supernatural topics like ghosts being verboten up above, ghost movies are an increasingly rare treat. At least ghost movies where, at the end of the movie, it's still a ghost and not someone hallucinating in a coma. So I have a predilection for any new ghost movie, simply because it got made. Hey, if you're not having fun, lower your standards. That's how you got to this channel, right? Never mind. Now, I sound like I'm trying to apologize for GhostNet before I even talk about it, but I'm not. Luckily for both of us, this movie offers some pleasant surprises. GhostNet, like a lot of local ghost movies in the last few years, is actually 3 movies in one. They call that a triptych. The first segment, Crowd You Out, is the film debut of TV director Wong Kwok-keung. It stars Ashina Kwok as a young woman who takes up residence in a subdivided flat. She never sees her neighbors, but that doesn't mean there's no one there. She makes the acquaintance of a young woman played by Cherry Pao, who needs a place to stay and someone to care about her. Sometimes ghost movies are exploitative. If you're going to have violence in a movie, the logic seems to go, you may as well have sex. Or at least nudity. Back in the slasher genre's so-called heyday, there were naked women not because it was integral to the plot. Okay, in shower slashers it was. But because once you cut someone's head off, you've crossed a ratings line. That's a roundabout way of saying that in Crowd You Out, I was really pleasantly surprised and even shocked to see the romance between these two women handled so nicely. There was nothing cheap or exploitative about it, and honestly I think it was handled much better than the vast majority of local films have handled lesbian relationships. So, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by that. Just like I enjoyed the subtext of Hong Kong's housing issues as an essential part of the plot. People end up in this place because they can't afford to live anywhere else. Of course, they can't live here either. The second segment, Double Body, stars Cabby Hoy as a jealous woman, Justin Chung as a tattoo artist with a secret, and Joman Chang as a woman who learns that regret can actually last more than a lifetime. The segment started off strong, featuring a much more engaged performance from Cabby Hoy than we saw in Justin and Joman worked well together as a couple with strange tastes and dark secrets. The story takes a kind of an odd turn, but I have to say that I enjoyed this segment like the first one, because it managed to impress me, technically, and on occasion shock and nearly offend me. It kept my interest, which these days is a rare treat. It was, on occasion, joyfully tasteless. I liked that. The third segment, Horror Online, was directed by Patrick Yao Tatsi, who directed The Longest Night, Expect the Unexpected, and The Odd One Dies, movies made at the tail end of the so-called Golden Age. Horror Online stars Carlos Chan as a paranormal investigator whose thirst for supernatural knowledge is almost as great as his hunger for social media likes. His mute sister is played by Jessica Khan, though why she never speaks is a mystery to me. It was also a mystery how and why we were expected to believe that Choi Chung-ho and Jumbo Tong were a couple. But they actually had pretty good comic chemistry, and they were probably the most enjoyable part of this segment for me. And not just because Jumbo Tong takes a shower, or ends up with a Glasgow smile. The story didn't really grab me, but I enjoyed the segment for a lot of the same reasons that I enjoyed the first two. There were some interesting visuals, some pleasantly shocking surprises, and it was just nice to be watching a ghost movie in Cantonese. I enjoyed all of GhostNet in ways that I didn't expect to, and it impressed me much more than I ever thought it would. I'm not saying it's great cinema, but it's a good, fun, local ghost movie, which to me is a reason to watch it in and of itself. It was also nice to see a movie that's not a painfully obvious studio construction. What I mean is it's refreshingly non-EEG, if you will. The movie is intended for young, local people, and I'm neither of those. Some might say I'm none of the three. But I still feel as though GhostNet treated local young people, and me, with significantly more care and respect than a lot of other movies aimed at the youth market made by large entertainment conglomerates. GhostNet is also a lot smarter and better than a lot of those movies too. GhostNet has some things that may surprise and impress you, and that's the biggest reason I can give for recommending it. I enjoyed this movie much more than I expected, and I was, like I said, really impressed by quite a few things in it, and for that reason I would recommend watching it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in cinemas because I think it's just about gone, but if you don't get a chance to see it in cinema, wait till you can rent it or buy it. Don't steal it. When it gets released to home video, I'll update the description with a link where you could buy a copy. And as long as we're talking about money, please, for my sake, click on my Patreon page because I need help. Yeah, I need help in a lot of different ways, but what I mean specifically is I could use some financial help. I realize everybody thinks that I'm a movie star and I'm rolling in cash. Well, it's not the case. So please, click on this, and for just a couple dollars a month, make me watch a Barbara Wong movie 5 times in a row. It's all up to you. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.